Today on Brilliance Business TV, we have Anoush Khaze. Anoush is a Les Brown certified inspirational and transformational speaker, a resilience coach and investor, and international best-selling author who specializes in working with entrepreneurs and those who want to get over their fears, bounce back from past challenges and failures to get unstuck and train their brain to win. Stay tuned. Welcome to Brilliance Business TV, conversations with leading experts in business. I am your host, Mark Stephen Pooler. We have a wonderful guest today, Anoush Khaze. Anoush is a resilience coach. We all need to bounce back at times, and he is the man of bounce back. So I'm really looking forward to a great conversation. We are streaming live on mspnewsglobal.com. We're on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, LinkedIn, YouTube, and we're also streaming through the E360 TV network under Fresh Takes, going out to Apple TV, Fire TV, Android TV, Roku, and many more. And we're also on Business Innovators Radio Network. I want to say hi and a shout out to our show sponsors, Dreamweaver Artist Ranch. Let's bring in our incredible guest, Anoush Khaze. Anoush, I'm getting tongue-tied with your name. You may want to pronounce it beautifully as you did earlier.
Well, you wouldn't be the first one. I guess my name is Anoush Khaze, but a lot of people have a little difficulty with it. So Khaze is fine. I'm not going to get we're not going to get hung up on that.
I can't do the throat, so I'll say Khaze.
That's fine. Just call me Anoush. It's fine.
Anoush, I know you've had a really interesting journey. You love supporting your clients. How did you get started on your journey into resilient coaching?
Well, I started very young in working. And I started working in corporate environment. I worked with many different companies. When I was going to school, I was learning how to get into the corporate world and working at different levels in the retail and then in the real corporate environment. While I was in college, I joined the Army ROTC, which was part of you learned some of that, this Reserve Officer Training Corps. At the time, I wasn't a U.S. citizen yet. I had immigrated to the United States when I was 16 years old. And in college, I wanted to join the U.S. military. But at the time, they were not allowing non-citizens to become part of the U.S. military. So although I did go through the Army Reserve Training Corps training while I was in college, I couldn't actually join the active military. But while I was there, I learned a lot about resilience. I learned about persevering through the training and not quitting, not giving up, pushing forward, even when things were difficult. When we were I lived in the New England and it was cold winters, like, you guys experience in England. You guys experience cold winters and rain and snow and everything else. But when we were at the camp training, you have to push forward. You can't stop. You have to push forward and help your comrades, your buddies, push forward too. If somebody was trying to quit, somebody would say, come on, you can do it. Move on. Come on, let's go. And that was all part of that training. And when I was growing up as a child, it was the same thing. I had a cousin when I was a kid. I was getting picked on in school. I had a cousin who was a brown belt at the time in martial arts and Taekwondo. And he always uplifted me and taught and told me, hey, you can do it. Come on, let's go. We can train. We can learn. and it pushed me. And I learned that resilience and not giving up was something I kind of grew up with because of my environment. Now, I was fortunate. A lot of people aren't that way. But also in corporate world, I employed some of the same techniques that, sometimes people say things about you and talk about you and do things that put you
Yes.
down. You have to become resilient through that. And because of that, when I finally decided to leave the corporate world because I wanted to do something that's more satisfactory, and I always like helping people. I always enjoyed helping people, and people ask questions. I like to help them go a little bit beyond just the basics. So I decided to go into do coaching and working with people who need that kind of uplift and push sometimes to maybe work a little harder, maybe chase after their dreams and goals a little harder, and rise up to the challenge and not give up. That's how I ended up in coaching.
I think it's such a vital skill to have in business: resilience, perseverance. I know from my journey, it takes a lot of resilience and perseverance, especially for new entrepreneurs coming into the entrepreneurial space. You're going to get a lot of rejection at the beginning, and if it isn't for having strong resilience and perseverance, I wouldn't have made a success of my journey. Anoush, did you receive resilience coaching yourself, and is that what got you interested in resilience, Anoush?
Yeah, I mean, resilience coaching doesn't necessarily mean you get resilience coaching from a coaching institute. You learn resilience from people who have developed resilience and they know how to do it, and you learn, and a lot of times they teach you by example. Like I said, when I was in the Army ROTC, we had a Captain Besh. He was a phenomenal coach in terms of resilience and pushing, and not pushing. A lot of people, when they think about the Army in the United States, they picture this rugged, roughneck sergeant who's gonna, coming down, belliger you, and yell at you and scream at you. A lot of times that's not the case. I mean, they coach you not only by example, but by giving you guidance on how to do things. And yeah, if you do screw up, yeah, you're probably going to get reprimanded. But I got the coaching in there. I got the coaching through also by selecting mentors. As I was young, I was in my 20s. I was starting, not only I was working in a corporate environment, but I also was starting a side business. I had mentors who coached me in resilience. There were many times that I felt like, oh, gee, I don't know if I'm going to be able to do this. And I said, sure, you can. You can do this. Do it this way. Do it this way. And you need to, every time you feel down, you take this step and take the other step. And that's how the coaching process works. A lot of times, it's not necessarily a by the book training. You get it by watching, listening, and learning from people who have done it.
Yes, and so much can be achieved with coaching and mentorship, Anoush. I'm a big advocate of having coaches, mentors. I've invested thousands of dollars and pounds into personal development. I know how important it is. You are branded America's Bounce Back Coach. What a great title to have, Anoush. How do you serve your clients in that capacity?
Well, the important thing is to realize that as a coach, it's important to realize not every coach is for every client. Not everybody is the right client for me, and I'm not the right coach for every person.
Yes.
Because people come they're at different stages in their life. And sometimes they need something else fixed before and work on something else before they get into meeting with me or working with me. Or I may be just the first step and they need to move on to something different. Or I may be completely the wrong person. So the way I serve, the first step of it is basically I have an interview with them and trying to find out if we are the right match. If in fact I can help that individual, because at the end of the day, for me, it's not the dollars that counts. It's important for me to be able to watch that person grow and move forward, and down the road turn around and say, hey, listen, I achieved my goal, I achieved my objective, And that gives me a lot of satisfaction. That's huge. And I think that should be number one for a lot of coaches. May or may not be for everybody, but I think that that's the way it should be. And how I serve them is by teaching them, by working with them, and let them discover the strengths that they have inside. A lot of us have a lot of the strengths that we need, a lot of resilience that we need inside. It's just that we need somebody to come and help them peel those layers off, so we can see those strengths, we can touch those strengths, we can access those strengths and pull from those.
I have to agree with you. You want to see your clients get the results that you have promised them. It's a shame not all coaches live by those ethics, Anoush, but you're like me, you're a person of service and integrity. So I really applaud you for that. Share a little bit of your past and background that has led you into what you're doing today, Anoush.
Well, my background is I grew up in the Middle East, in Iran. My heritage is part Russian and part Armenian. And I came to the United States in 1976, a long time ago. And I was 16 years old, and I had to sleep in front of the American embassy just to pick up the application for a visa to be able to come to the United States. And I was fortunate that we had an aunt in here who sponsored me, and I was able to come here and go to school. And in the process of all of that, I learned a lot. I learned a lot about cultural differences. I learned a lot about just overall the dramatic change that you go through in life just by moving from one place to another. It's huge. And those things forced me to become more resilient. As I was starting high school, I started a little side business selling, cleaning products, and you cannot believe how many no's I got, even from family and friends.
Yes,
and which is really hurtful, because you think those will be the people who are going to be in your corner, right? And But it was one guy I remember. He owned a little coffee shop, and I went in there and I had one little product, and I said, "Listen, I have this cleaning product," and he said, "Let me see what you got." And that, by itself, not only was a boost because I made a sale, but it showed me that all those other no's that I got me to that yes. So resilience paid off. Resilience paid off eventually. And the same thing was, as I went through working in a corporate environment. Not every job was the right job, but every step that I took was the right one. But just pushing forward, continually pushing forward. Every time you fall, you get back up. It doesn't matter how many. I learned it doesn't matter how many times you fall, as long as you get back up again and try again. That got me to the point where I said, okay, this is really important, because I saw a lot of people quit in business. I saw a lot of people start business and they quit because they just didn't have it in them to get back up, or there was no one there to push them forward.
You have been on your own journey of transformation from where you were, Anoush, to what you're doing today and how you're serving others. And I really relate to you with your product story, because my social media entrepreneurship journey started in network marketing. So I was selling aloe vera drinking gels, toothpastes, deodorants, cosmetics online, and like you mentioned, you get no after no after no after no, and it is sometimes your family, close friends that don't really support you, and then you do start to get people who you don't even know that well who give you that yes, and it is all of those no's that lead you to success and a yes. So I really, really relate to you on that. Anoush, we're coming up to a commercial break. Please stay where you are. We've got lots still to cover. Thank you, everyone, for joining us for part one of Brilliance Business TV. We're conversation with Anoush Khaze. Join us after the commercial break. Are you ready to bounce back?
Hello, this is Stephen Buckner, and just wanted to tell you I support the Dreamweaver project. It's a great project where, you know, artists such as myself will be able to come together and basically collaborate and to have a retreat to feel accepted and welcome. And that's something that artists here and around the world could always benefit from. So I just want to say, please support the Dreamweaver project. I think it's for a great cause, and I salute all the independent artists out there and artists that are signed as well, and have a wonderful day.
Welcome back to Brilliance Business TV. We're in conversation with Anoush Khaze. Anoush, welcome back.
Thank you. Great to be here.
So, as America's bounce back coach, tell us a little bit about the products and services that you offer your clients, Anoush.
Well, the first and foremost important one is individual coaching. I also do small group coaching, not large groups, but smaller groups. I do mostly individual coaches, one at a time. We're in the process of actually a whole resilience course, putting a resilience course together where people can actually self-pace themselves going forward. And that should be, we expect that to be released in first or early second quarter of the 2022. Help them bounce back from the this whole pandemic that we've been going through.
Yes,
it's important for people to become resilient to all the challenges that they face. And also, I have my YouTube channel. We are building to work on that and getting that more videos out there for people to be able to benefit from. We have some videos there right now. There's not a lot of them, but we're building on that YouTube channel.
You mentioned one-on-one coaching. Tell us a bit about the process and what that looks like from beginning to end, Anoush.
Well, from beginning, the first step is to have a conversation, and I do a free coaching introductory conversation with people that are interested to get coached, and to determine whether or not what is it that they're really looking for, and whether or not we're the right fit, and if I'm the right coach for them. If I'm not the right coach, fortunately, I have been blessed by knowing and meeting a lot of people in a coaching industry that are really integrous. They are great in what they do. And if I'm not the right coach, I will point that individual to the right person where I think they'll probably get the best benefit from. If we're the right fit, then we move on typically a 6-week program, where we start with where they are and where they need to be, establishing the steps that they need to take and where their ultimate goal is. And once we get through that initial 6-week program, we'll reevaluate and see what else they need to work on and go from there. And for each person, it's different.
Now, we have talked about resilience a lot, perseverance a lot. Could you share a few of your tips for resilience with us, Anoush?
Sure, absolutely. First thing is I've noticed that a lot of times, especially lately with this whole pandemic situation, a lot of people get pressured into one thing or another. And I've come across a lot of people who have been saying, I have a family member telling me I should get vaccinated. I said the other person say, don't get vaccinated. The bottom line is, at the end of the day, the first step is mind your own business. Don't worry about what other people think, okay? Because they're not the ones who are going to be, guiding your life. They're not the ones who are going to be living your life. They're not the ones who are going to have to deal with the consequences of what they tell you to do. You're going to have to live with those consequences. So mind your own business, do your own research, whatever may be the case, and don't worry so much about what other people think, because I can guarantee you there are a lot of people out there that don't even care what you think about them. So don't give mind so much about that. Mind your own business. Focus on what you're trying to accomplish
Yes,
in your
good
life
one.
and chasing your dreams. The other thing is avoid the negi-nellies. Now, who are the negi-nellies? People who are really negative. All they can do is dump garbage on you. It's your head. Everything in life, every battle in life that you face and you go through, it starts, whether you win, lose, or draw, it starts right up here in the 6 inches between your ears. It's how you think. Your head is not a garbage can. Don't let people come in and dump a lot of garbage in your head. Don't stick with people who constantly give you negative information.
Great tip.
Yeah. And third thing is, what you've done all this time has gotten you to where you are. Obviously, you develop some habits. Some of them may be bad habits. So change your habits. There's step-by-step process of how you change your habits. You can follow those and you can learn about those and change those habits so it can help you move in the direction in your life that you want to go. So it's important to have those outlined.
And
Go ahead.
Is there anything we should particularly look out for in our thinking, our actions, any warnings to help us to move forward, Anoush?
Yeah, well, the first thing you should watch out for is in around you, like I said, people who are not supporting you, people who keep on giving you negative information, push you in a negative direction. You need to avoid those people. Now, I'm not saying be rude to them, but just kind of remove yourself from that environment. You don't have
associations so important.
Absolutely. And the most important thing, other than that, surround yourself with positive people, but get a mentor, get a coach,
yes,
get someone who can help you develop the step-by-step where you need to go. That's very important. I have multiple coaches in my life. I have multiple mentors in my life. Everybody needs one.
I have to agree. Coaching is so important. We've just been through a terrible global pandemic the last 2 years. It's still dragging on. What have you learned through the pandemic? Any ha-ha moments?
What really amazed me and what I learned is that how people can rise to challenges in the most difficult times. And I tell you, I saw people who were in the healthcare industry, the frontline people, amazing job that they've done in the most difficult circumstances, putting their own health and well-being on the line to care for other people. The caring that has gone on, not only just in the hospitals or in the healthcare industry, but overall, people I see that have become a little more, in more challenging situations, people become more giving. They have become, the capacity of people to love and give is there.
Yes.
If we just let them do it and don't put situations out there that don't need to be and create animosities. But people, I've seen kindness from people all over the place that is absolutely amazing.
I do think we've had a big awakening, and people are more thoughtful, and people have thrived through all of the terrible things. There are still people out there moving positively forward, and I think it's really important that we all do stay as positive as possible. Collaboration, cooperation, and supporting each other, and the world will get back to a new norm and everyone will thrive again. I really like this question I'm going to ask you now. How would America's bounce back coach like to be remembered?
That's a great question. And it all comes down to this. If anybody's going to remember me, it's going to have to be, I'm hoping it is, that I help them overcome a challenge, a difficulty. Maybe something I said touched you in the right way. Maybe something I said touched them in a way that helped them overcome a difficulty where at some point they say, you know what? I remember him saying that. And that helped me today. I always, one of the things I talk about is say, in life, do you want to be a rubber ball or a bean bag? Because if you drop a bean bag, it stays down. But a rubber ball bounces back. So always try to be a rubber ball, bounce back.
That's my takeaway today. Always be a rubber ball and bounce back. I love that, Anoush. It's a great way to look at life. Now, Anoush, you're offering a free giveaway for your tips from your personal development book. Tell us a little bit about that, please.
This is a very small book. It's not really, it is designed to be an easy read. Because most people, when they a lot of times get a lot of books and they just don't read them. They read halfway through and it's gone. I put it on a shelf when it's really it's like a big book. This is an easy book to read. It's on personal self-development, the steps you can take to develop a positive attitude and a more positive approach to life. It's only like about 50 pages or so. It's easy to go through probably and have a cup of coffee or have a cup of tea and read it on a cold, rainy day like we have here in Los Angeles. I think we stole some of your weather. So it's going to be easy read. And I think it's really important, especially with the holidays that are here. After the holidays, a lot of people get into a lot of depressed moods. And it's important to start yourself off with a positive attitude and positive mental discipline going forward.
I would encourage everyone to grab this complimentary gift. Go to gift.anoushkhaze.com. That's www.gift.anoushkhaze.com. Once more, gift.anoushkhaze.com. Anoush, I have thoroughly enjoyed having a conversation with you today. I love what you're about. I love your values, and I love how you're supporting people to bounce back, be more resilient, have more perseverance. And I love how you're about serving others to help them to move forwards. Thank you so much for being a guest on the Brilliance Business TV show.
It's been my privilege and honor to be on your show. I appreciate it. Thank you very much.
The pleasure's all mine. Thank you, everyone, for watching Brilliance Business TV, conversations with leading experts in business. Today, we have been in conversation with Anoush Khaze, resilient coach, America's bounce back coach. And let me ask you a question. Are you going to remember to be a rubber ball and bounce back? Until next time, bye for now.